Let's go. Yeah. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go! Let's go! Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Awesome! Welcome to another Friday, and as always, it's Functions Friday. In today's episode, I'm taking a little of a detour to do something that I think is going to speak to a lot of Ghanaians, considering the recent distribution of ambulances in the country. Um, Medical emergency system or emergency services is something that I'm quite fond and passionate about because I have a personal experience with that. So, when we come back, I will be talking to you and showing you what we're going to build and then also some big announcement concerning the shows and subsequent ones coming. So, we will be right back. So, welcome if you're just joining us. This is Functions Friday, and on today's episode, we will be taking a look at how to create a very simple emergency response system that will help you notify people, loved ones, friends, family, if you have an emergency, and potentially probably even notify the ambulance service. Now, so the question is, why am I doing this today? So, it's not the regular Functions Friday stuff. Now, even though Functions is under serverless, which Logic Apps and some form of Flow is under, I chose to do this because of some changes to the channel that is coming up. So myself and my team, after a few reviews, putting things together, we're trying to make some changes to the channels that we run. So first off, IoT Tuesday is still going to be IoT Tuesday. It's going to be on its own Tuesdays. That's fine. We realize that there's a lot of interest and there's a lot of demand for the Power Platform series we're doing on Sundays for Power Series. So we're going to keep that. However, because we want to give you more than just functions and also be inclusive on everything happening on the Microsoft Azure and other technical stacks, we are rebranding Functions Friday to become Demystify Technology, and then Sundays will be Power Series on its own. So now the three shows will be IoT Tuesday, Demystify Technology on Friday, and then Power Series on Sunday. Now, Demystify Tech will give me the opportunity to get other industry experts to host the show on Friday, so I don't become the only face you see on Fridays for Demystify Technology. So you're going to see friends, colleagues, I mean people in the community who just want to show something in tech on Friday. So that is the major announcement I have for the channels. So with that said, why are we building an emergency response system? So, over the week, there was a lot of fuss about ambulances the president inaugurated, or in some cases, outdoored. Well, I have my own reservations about all that. We have questions to ask, like, for instance, how was the distribution done? Was it based on some data they have, knowing that there's more need of it in particular areas as opposed to others? But hey, that's not why we are here today. So, today, if you have been following me for some time now, you know that I like to work with the Flic button, which has a few states that allows me to build systems like a panic button or an emergency response button. So this I can actually clip, let's say, right in my, in my shirt, if I can get this to work. Yeah, something like that. All right. So with something like this, you will be able to notify loved ones, notify your friends, and in our hypothetical scenario today, you'll be able to notify the National Ambulance Service that you need help. And they should be able to come to your rescue because this also allows you to send your location. So today on Functions Friday, soon to be Demystified Technology, I'll show you how we can take this button, transform it into a panic or an emergency response button that sends an SMS and then also sends a message to our hypothetical emergency response team for them to know that someone is in trouble, and even potentially probably tweet it so friends and family know that you are in trouble. So let's get right into it. So we're going to be using obviously the Flic button and its companion app, which I'll share whilst I'm doing that. And then also we're going to be using Microsoft Flow, or we could also use Logic Apps. All right, we could use either Logic Apps, which is serverless component, or we can use Flow, any of them. And the two differences is that if you use Logic App, you're running it in Azure, right? But if you use Flow or Power Automate, then you're using it within the Power Platform or O365. Which, if you have any O365 account, you should be able to do it, not necessarily having an Azure account. So that is what we will be doing. So well, let's get right into it. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please, 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 please subscribe so you can get more content from me. It's as a journey on YouTube. You can also connect to me on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Twitch, and also on Mixer. So let's get into it. Let's have some fun. So I'm going to go ahead and open. Actually, let me get my Edge browser here. Since we are staying faithful to Edge, let's get right in there. And welcome all of you who have joined us. So I'm going to go ahead and go to flow.microsoft.com. So this should take you to what now is Power Automate. And you should, if you have any valid O365 account, you should be able to, use it. So let's sign in. Hopefully you sign in with an account I'm already using, and yep. Okay, let's use Outlook. Uh, okay. So all I'm doing is just connecting to my my Outlook account because I have access to Flow from there. So just connecting there. And if you don't know what Power Automate is, I'll be talking more about it on the Power series on Sundays. But I had an episode where I talked about Power Automate. So you can go back, check my YouTube channel, and it's there. So this is your Power Automate environment that allows you to create, not just business process automation, but very simple automations. It has a lot of connectors, what you might call in other terms API or SDKs, that allow you to create, seamless flows. Click of a button, codeless way. And that's what we're trying to do here today. So let's get into it. All right, awesome. So if you don't know what the Flic button is, like I mentioned, it's a cool button that has, three states that allows you, all right, to actually, seamlessly create flows and processes. All right, this how it looks. It looks like. It has a companion app which connects to your phone. I can actually show you that screen right now. Yep. So this is the Flic, companion app. All right, and this is on my phone right now. As you can see, I have this. I have a Flic button, this one named and enabled on my phone. So we're going to show you. I'm going to show you how to configure it so that when this button is pressed in the form of a panic button, something is going to happen. So we're going to build on it incrementally. So first of all, we're going to try to connect with it and see how it works, at least in initial stages, so that when I click on it, I want it to start a trigger. and then we can build in a trigger and then create some crazy stuff. So first of all, um, let's go to our Flic app on the phone. Let's set it up, and then we will come back to automate and then create that. All right, so it knows how to how to deal and connect with it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to switch to the Flic app. Sorry if you don't see my face, but um, we'll try to make this work. All right. So here in the Flic app, when I tap on the Flic app, it opens up the options I have for the Flic app. And I mentioned that the Flic app actually has three states. All right. It has the click, it has a double click, and then it has the hold. So the click is when you actually click the button just once. And then the double click is when you click the button twice. And the hold is when you press and hold the button for a while. So let's look at our scenario. So one scenario will be that either when I click the button, all right, I'm probably in a dying situation or I need help, all right. Maybe when I press and hold it, that could probably mean it's a life and death issue, all right. But let's start like I said, baby steps. So our scenario is with a click of this button, we want to notify loved ones and then notify the National Ambulance Service in our own ways, all right. So to do this, I'm going to click on the click option, which means when I click on it, so these are the options you have within the Flic app. You can do something in terms of communication, fun, just for fun sakes. Let's see if I can do this. I mean, for fun sakes, it could be a buzzer, it could be a fart generator. That's crazy. It could be a fake, a Flic counter. All right. But we don't we don't want to do it. I mean, come on, I think I want to try that. So hopefully you should be able to hear this. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to just try to play around. I mean, just to show you how it works. So I'm going to go for the fart generator. And I know this is unwholesome, but so let's see. Double fart. Hmm. Let's try double and messy. All right, and then I'll save the action. Okay, so now I'm saying that when I press this Flic button, it should give a double fart. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to press it. Can you hear that? Did you hear that? It's a bit faint, but let me do that again. Yeah, I mean, so, sorry guys, but yeah, I mean that's just how simple it is. But let's get serious. So I'm going to remove this, and then I'm going to go back. And in our case, we want this. We're going to go to tools. Okay, I can go over this. We can have, phone control, which means when you press this button, it should enable Bluetooth. It should open your camera. It should find your phone, flashlight. So these are cool stuff you can do, out of the box just with a Flic button. Okay, without any stress. Um, you can do home automation, turning on your lights on and off. I have a Philips Hue in the house right now, so I can use this button. Linda. So I can use this button to actually turn on the hue light on and off. You know what? Let's try this because I'm trying to show you some of the things you can do with the button. So let's go to Philips Hue control. I have a bridge. I have a Philips bridge here. So let me go ahead and add bridge and do this. Let's see if it's gonna. Yep, I think it's found. Press to authenticate. I'm going to press my bridge. I pressed my bridge. Okay, so now I have the office lamp here. Okay, so that is it, right? So now that is set. So let's go back here. Um, and that's it. So let's say I want to do light and then office lamp, and I want to toggle it. So which means that if I press it, color mode, let's do a random color mode. Let's set the brightness, and I'm going to save this. So now I'm going to turn on the lights for just a bit. And sorry about this, but I would have to reposition. Let me actually do this. I have another camera here that I am going to quickly set up. Okay, and I'm going to switch to that camera. All right, so you can see this. Sorry about the light, but I'm putting it down there so you can see that the light is there. All right, let me add. Actually, let me do this. All right, awesome. So this is the button I have here. All right, and that is the beams from the light. So I'm just going to press it. Now, do you see what just happened? Now check this out. So anytime I press the button, because I said it should turn the light on and off, and then it should actually change the color, random color. Look at this. When I press it, it goes off. When I press it again, it comes back on with a different color. I hope you're actually seeing the colors. Like now it's like some green, some greenish color. Let me actually put this here. So that it's reflecting the colors, here. Let's just do this. So I'm going to press it again. It goes off. I press the button again, and now you can see the color has changed. So I press it, I press the button, I press it again, and the color has changed. I press it, it goes off. I press it again, and now it's a blue color. So this is just how, I mean, to even make it a lot more dramatic, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually put the light in my face, on this side of my face, and then when I press it, kind of like goes off, and then when I press it again, it changes the color. You can see the change on my desk. So that is how simple it is to configure this button, as it is, without having to do anything connected to Flow or Azure or anything. Now let's get back to our scenario. All right, so let's go back here. So now I'm going to do this again. Actually, let me turn this off. There we go. And then I'm going to remove this. Awesome. So now, so before we continue, it's not just the Flic button. All right. You actually have, there's also the AWS IoT button, which you can use. You can also configure that to use. There's also this Microsoft Textmo button, which you can also use to do that. Okay, so you have a lot of options on which one to use, but we are picking a Flic because of the multi-state. So let's get back into this. So now I'm going to go back and then click on the click option for this. And in our current situation, we want to do, some custom stuff. So let's go here, and as you can see, there's actually even an option immediately for Flow right here. All right, as you can see right here, and that is what we want to do. Okay, that's what we want to start working on. So let's click on the Flow, and I want to include GPS location, as you can see that, so that it's going to pick my phone's GPS location and then add to the Flow request. All right, so save action. So that's it. So currently what's happening is that my Flic button has been configured that when I press the button, it's actually going to call or trigger a Flow. Now for the Flow to work, okay, I will need to make sure that I add that Flow, I create that Flow and connect it to my Flic button, and then we can proceed. So now let's go back to our Flow. All right, actually let's go this way. Awesome. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. So I'm going to go to the side here. Hopefully this is good for you. You can see this. And then I'm going to click on create. Yeah, that was funny. All right. So one connection, it's something about, it's an Azure IoT Central connection that's broken. I don't mind that, so I'll not worry about fixing that. So we come here, and I'm going to do an instant flow, triggered manually as needed. So here, if you want to know more about this, go watch my previous episode. It will tell you about what the automated flow is, the schedule flow, and the business process flow. So we are doing an instant flow, so we're going to click this, and then um, I'm just going to click on a manually triggered flow, and then generate. Now this is going to allow me to generate a flow. So let me call this uh, ambulance request. All right, so I just given it a name. Now this could be any manual input like a date, number, yes, no, but we don't want this. So I'm going to delete this. All right. And then in here, I'm going to type in Flic because there's a built-in connector for Flic on Automate. So I'm going to click that and got it. So here it says when a flick is pressed or when a task is executed, I want when a flick is pressed. So now it's going to ask me to connect to my flick. All right. This is because I've created an account for the flick and I need to authorize and authenticate against this flick so that it knows that it's this particular button we're talking about. And yeah, for those of you asking how can you get the flick button, yeah, it's if you're interested, reach out to me. We can order some for you, and then hey, you can play around with it. Let's see. As of today, I don't remember the price. So let's go to their site and check out the price now. So you have an idea. If you have friends, in the US as well, you can call. So this is a new generation ones. This was the very first generation that I got. There's a story about this that I'll tell sometime. But this is a new generation. I actually have a few coming in, I think next week. And so I'll just do a follow-up show to show you these new ones when mine comes in. So if you go to shop, just trying to find out the price for it right now. So yeah, so this is with the hub. This allows you to connect a lot of flicks and stuff. But then here you go. So if you want one, it's just $30 for one. If you want a pack of three, that's $79. And so, I mean, depending on what you want, you can go with that. Now, so someone was asking, why do I need a flick button when probably I can use my phone or I can use something else? That's a very valid question. But the problem is that assuming it's an emergency, are you going to pick the phone now, unlock it, look for the number or type the number when you could just press this button just once or twice or hold on to it? That's a lot more faster as compared to trying to look for the phone and type. So they complement each other. We're not disputing or belittling any application. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's sign in, and then yep. So this is it. Hopefully I remember the password. If I don't, then we are doomed. But I think I do remember the password. So this has connected successfully to my Flic. So I can go back here and you can see I have the AfriLogic Flic button. That is how I named it. If I quickly switch back here, you can see that that is the name AfriLogic of my button. All right, so that's it. And then what event? So these are the three events here. What we've configured is a click event. All right. So we're saying that when we click on this, right? When we click on the button, what's next? So that's how flow works. You can build a series of steps that will help you or determine how you can run things. So let's do this. I'm going to click on add. So now what we want to do when this happens, okay, let's open this up. I think there's something more that I can actually get from here. Add comment to the email. That's fine. Okay, so when this is pressed, let's assume that there is how do you call it? There's a call center. Okay, there's a call center for the National Ambulance Service, and it's a matter of either sending an email or sending an SMS. You know what? Let's try the SMS first, and let's see how that would work. But baby steps. Don't rush this. Understand the process. So to make this a lot easier, I'm just going to go ahead and do send an email. Okay. So let's do Outlook. So let's just open Outlook. So what you're seeing, these are triggers, and these are the various connectors that are pre-built for you by Microsoft. So I'm going to let's look for send. Yeah, so there you go. Send an email. Send an email. Yep. So it's going to ask me to sign in. All right. Because these are connectors that are available for me to use now. So I'm going to sign in. Hopefully it's going to see my yep. Let me try this. Now sometimes for some reason the individual account do not work. for some of the office stuff. But I can click here and delete. I can actually use Gmail. All right, that also works. So if I add and then just do Gmail, just type Gmail as the action, and you can see Gmail is here. All right, and then I can do send email, and this will ask me to sign in, and I'll just go through the flow, authentication flow. Um, so I'm going to sign in to my Gmail and then provide my password. Pa, 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 pum. So let's see. Okay, I entered my password, and yep, I don't want to save this. So yeah, I'm allowing it. So now I have given my flow access to use my Gmail to send an email. All right. So the who am I sending this email to? So hypothetically, we are assuming that we are sending it to Esadrani at outlook.com, which is we are assuming that this is the ambulance service email, okay, which we want to send it to. And what's the title? Ambulance needed ASAP. That's the title. And I can say that help me, I need an ambulance. All right. Now I want to draw attention to something right here. Now I realize that as I was typing, this dynamic thing popped up. Now look at what's happening here. You remember that because I actually selected that I wanted to pass the how do you call it? I wanted to pass the location. There's a longitude and a latitude here. All right, that is showing. Let me show you full screen so you can see this. So the latitude and longitude is showing here. So I can actually go ahead and say that help me, I need an ambulance at and then I can say, let's say this is the lat. Now we can get creative with this. All right, I could actually pass this longitude and latitude to an Azure function that uses the Google Maps API, okay, to render a map location with this longitude and latitude, and then adds it as an image that can be attached by, how do you call it, this particular flow. All right, but I'm just showing the possibility. So I can say add latitude, and then I can click this, that dynamically insets it, and then long, and then insets the longitude, and then that's it. All right, and then I can come back here and say time of request, and then we can put the time that I clicked on the button. All right, so this is done, and technically that's it. All right, there you go. And then I make sure I save this particular how do you call it, flow. So right now we have, when the button is pressed, we're going to send an email to this particular email, assuming or pretending that this email is a National Ambulance Service email. All right. Now, if they had a system, we could actually use our own API to send it to their systems directly. So, in the cases where you say, oh, there is actually a jam on the call, people are on the call and they are not able to reach them, we could use this. Another thing would be that this message will trigger a system where it's going to look at the nearest ambulance, okay, based on this longitude and latitude. It's going to look for the nearest ambulance in, closest to you, and automatically dispatch that ambulance to your location. So then we are not waiting for it to go to dispatch and for dispatch to. So just think about those scenarios. So what we can do is that I'm going to save this and let's test it out. So to test it out, I'm going to open my Outlook email here. Yeah, I'm going to open it so that, when I press it, we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to test out and check to see if truly this is working the way it has to work. All right, so let's go for it. Let's see. Yeah, my mail is opening. Yeah, it's telling me that someone connected. That was me. That's fine. Okay, so now let's go ahead. I'm going to click on test, and I'll say that I will perform the trigger action myself. So I do this, and yeah, I can close this, and now take a look at this. I'm going to press the button. I just pressed it. All right. Yep. Let me go back on this. Yep. So now I just press that button. It's saving. Okay, also here it's saving. So let's wait for that to save. Let me refresh this. And now take a look at this. There you go. Immediately, check this out. Ambulance needed. If I open this up, look at the email. You see, help me. I need an ambulance at latitude and longitude. Time of request. Sends my time, including my time zone. Right? Isn't this cool? And then so from here, I could actually send a flow, to, let's say, the dispatch group that's handling the ambulance request, and they can immediately dispatch you to this location. Simple, right? Now, so how about, okay, this time around, we want to, at the same time, um, let's go back to the flow. Our flow. This is going to show us the history of the flow as it's running. So I want us to pause for a minute. Okay, let's pause for a minute. We've seen how this works. Let's pause for a minute and think about the possibilities. So I'm in trouble. With the press of this button, I just sent an email to someone. I could also now add a power process where I send an SMS to someone. Okay, or I could have another process that actually tweets to the whole world that I'm in need of help at this particular location. All right, and like I'm saying, this long lat, you can put it into a map. So I could have an Azure function, and all the Azure function does is that it calls the Google API. In fact, you know what? Let's just try this out. Okay, yeah, let's leave here. Let's go back to edit. I want us to try, to try this just to be curious because this is getting interesting. So let's do this. Now, so we've sent the email. I can click here and say I'm adding a power, branch. Power branches are just, yeah, like you want to perform multiple activities at the same time. So here, the next activity that I want to do is probably let's say I want to tweet this. All right. So I'll just start typing Twitter, and there you go, and then post a tweet. Okay, and again, you're supposed to authorize. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and actually authorize this, and yeah, as always, I need to sign in, and then authorize the app. Close this. So now Twitter is also connected. All right, so what is the text that I want to post? Now, if this media, okay, I don't have any media to post. It could be the longitude, the latitude, but I don't have this media to post. So I can come here. I mean, think about it. I think this is going to be a challenge. How about we create a connector that takes a longitude and latitude and then returns it in a map as an image, pinpoints it as a live, kind of like a live map. I think I'll probably work on that. So what message do I want to send? I would want to say that help me guys get an ambulance at my location. um Help me get an ambulance at my location for, yeah, let's say help me guys get an ambulance, and then hashtag uh functions Friday, so nobody freaks out. Okay, so we don't have people freaking out. And then here again, I can click on dynamic content, open this up. Let's slide it here. And then I can add the latitude. space, and then the longitude. All right, and then maybe the UID of the button. We're just trying to put something out there. All right. So this is done. Don't forget, I'll save this. Now let's open. Actually, we have Twitter open here, so I can bring Twitter in view. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, we're going live on Twitter as well. So I'm going to go to my home. Or actually, let me go to my profile since that's where the tweet is going to come from. So let me put this here. Close this. Come a bit here. And then we've saved this. So again, with a button. All right. I'm going to click it again. Yep, the button has been clicked. Let's see if the actions happen. So first, let's go to our email. We should receive another email because that action is still there. There you go. We received the second one that says that help me, I need ambulance at this location, and the time. So the time will tell us that yeah, this is actually 36. It's 8:36. And then if you look at the first one, that was 8:31. So that tells you another one came. Now to validate that it happened on Twitter, let's go to Twitter. Let's expand this. Let me actually zoom in so you can see this properly. And let's see. Let me just go here. No, let me just go to my page and just refresh. Now take a look at this. There you go. Help me guys get an ambulance. Oh, I didn't even spell it wrong. Ambulance. Ambulance at my location, and this is Functions Friday, and then all that has been added. Let me quickly delete this before somebody freaks out. So as you can see, we've automatically and simply created a flow that is triggered when the Flic button is pressed. So now if this was ambulance service, this here would have sent an email to your loved ones, would have tweeted onto your timeline to know there's something wrong with you so that people can come to your rescue. Now let's try a last one, which would be no. Let's close this, and I'm adding another power. So I'm adding a third one, which means at the same time, and I'm going to say Twilio. I'm going to send an SMS. Unfortunately, we don't have things like Hoptel and the rest here. So anyone, if you're feeling daring and helpful enough, you can actually create a connector for Hoptel. So let's say send a text message, all right, and it's going to ask me to connect to my Twilio account. I have this, so I'm going to go ahead somewhere and put in that information. This allows me to send SMSs using this account. So I'm going to connect and copy my connection name, my ID, and my token. Let's log in. And for the sakes of my privacy, I would actually unfortunately hide it before filling it in, just so people don't just go bombarding my stuff. So I'm going to go off for a while, just a second, just to punch in my Twilio credentials. All right. So as for this one, I can give it a name, TwiloCon. The account ID and the rest. Unfortunately, I'm going to hide this from you for a while. Copy this, put this here, and where is that? Yeah, I have my token. Hide this. Okay, I've just entered all the details we need and then create. So this is going to go ahead. Yep, so now this is copied. So I want to send now who wants to receive my text message? If anyone who's on the show is daring enough wants to receive my text message, just put in your number. I'll swap it with your number, and then you would get a message from me. So if anyone is feeling daring enough, you can put your phone number in there. I'll put your phone number as a contact, and then we'll send it to you. Or I could also set up a group, which means that anytime there's a number that hits this phone number, I can do a USSD or something like that. So let me do this. So plus 233 244 531687. That is my phone number. I'm using, oh yeah, so I'm using I have a number on Twilio. This is where it's going. So plus 233 244. I put that here, and the text I can say. I can also add dynamic content here. So that's the cool thing about it. You can get data from previous connectors you use. So I'll say, help me, I need an ambulance ASAP. Alright, and then I'll just put my latitude space, my longitude. So that's a text, that's just a text message I'm going to send. So again, click save. Alright. And let me go back and check the Twitter message because we didn't spell it well. So there you go, an ambulance, okay, do this, and then we save. So now we have three connectors in the flow. So anytime this button is pressed, it's going to send an email, tweet on my timeline, and send a text message. All right. So let's validate this. I'm going to press it again. Button has been pressed. Let's go to our email. Go back to my inbox. Refresh and just stay put and wait for this to pop up. There you go. I need an ambulance ASAP. That is here, so we know that it worked for the email. Let's go back. Let's bring Twitter in view, and I'm going to go to my again. Let me just refresh this onto my own timeline, and there you go. Help me, guys, get an ambulance at this location. That is sorted. So let me delete this so no one freaks out. So at least we know that the very first two is working. So now let's see. Let's go ahead and see if we can actually validate that we got a text message to this effect. All right. So before we do that, let me just go open my and yep. Okay. All right. So I'm going to flip this. So now you can see my phone, and as you can see, there's a text message that is coming. If I open this up, as you can see, help me, I need an ambulance ASAP at this location. All right. Simple. That's done. So now, within a very short, some few minutes, we've been able to create an automated system, okay, that on a click of this button sends messages, our phone, email, Twitter, and then it would send it to the ambulance service if they have an API that receives, this. And I'm saying that the next level of this would be to create, let's say, a map or an app kind of thing where it actually sends your location to the nearest ambulance driver. So think about this. If the ambulance drivers are equipped with devices to receive help, then you can send them, this will be blasted out, and then the nearest ambulance will come to your aid or will call you and say that, hey, I'm closest to you, and then how can I help? All right. Now let's see if after all this happens, I'm just trying to be inclusive to see if we have anything like map. Oh yeah, there is. There is a Bing map. Yep. Wow. So there's a map, right? So I'm going to go to Bing Maps and let's see what we can do. Can I get location by address or get location by point? Let's read about this. Get a location I said with exactly. So let's see, get location by address. Okay, so this is what we are looking for. Get location by point. All right, this is interesting. So I'm going to click this. And now it's going to ask me, oh, I need to create a Bing's map connection and API. Unfortunately, I don't have that. You know what? Let's create one right now. Let's say maps API. let's create one right now and test it on the show, and then we can call it a night. We would have been able to do something useful on today's channel. Okay, so map service where we need. Let's see, custom maps API for businesses. Bing Maps API key pricing. Let's see. Microsoft Maps. Choose your Bing Maps API. Custom map API. Directions. Bing Maps. So I haven't used this before. So let's see. V8 web control, SDK for Android, Windows presentation. I think it's a REST service. Okay, the big map says for performing tasks such as Euric reverse. Yeah, so I think this is what we're looking at. There's also fleet management services. Wow, this is interesting. I've not explored the big maps this much, so this is a good thing for me to try to look at. Okay, let's go for the REST services, web mobile desktop. So let's click this. So let's look at this. So this is what REST services, what does it give us? We have access to all this. Cool. So REST services, let's go and do this. And hey, yeah, if you have any questions, guys, put it in the comments on any other platform you're watching, and I would, respond to it. I'll respond to that for you. Okay, so let's see. So it says getting started. Yeah, let's go to getting started. So to use a Bing, you must have a Bing Maps key. Yes, we don't have this, so let's open up and get the getting it. Go to bingmaps.com. If you have a Bing Maps account, signing with a Microsoft account, blah blah blah. Okay, let's go here. Let's opening a lot of tabs. Okay, so let's sign in. Well, unfortunately, Microsoft, this is a very sad Bing Maps page. I mean, for devs, welcome to the Bing Maps. This is the first time you have logged in. Yes, if you would like to continue creating your new Bing account, link below. Yes, create an account for me. I want that. So the account name, I'll just say that's the name, the contact name, that is me. Company is not required. I'll leave it. Email address, yeah, that'll be the same email address I'm using for today's show. My phone number is not required, so I agree to it, and then I create. Yeah. So announcement: the main manager now supports such active directory. That's cool. Blah 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 blah. We recommend you have multiple. We recommend have multiple email address contact list. Okay, so now I think my key. So I think this is created now. All right. So I should be able to get keys and deploy them. All right. So again, what is the application name? It's called ambulance. No, this is called ambulance request. That's the name of the application. I don't have an application URL. It's a basic application. Application type is it's a website. Okay. Let's just use dev test and then I'll create. Yeah, I can always delete this once I am done. So go ahead. Yep. And the application is created. So let's come back to our flow. Our flow says that we need a connection name. We'll just call this Bing Maps connection. API key. Hopefully, let me hide this for a second from you guys. Copy this and let's come back here. And then I paste this here and then create. Hopefully this creates a Bing map for me. Yes! So it creates the Bing map. Looking very exciting. So point the latitude. Remember that when we click on the Flic button, we're sending latitude and longitude as well. Alright. So I'm going to click on point latitude and where are you? Come here, come here, come here, come here. Let's see. Dynamic content. I'll just say lat. Where is that? Add dynamic content. Let's open the Flic. Let's see. This is not okay. You know what? But no, this is supposed to show here. Let me clear this. Oh, it's because it's coming directly under the email, but then this should have, and then the send grade is here, and the error codes associated with emergency if any. Okay, so you know what? We already have the connectors. Let's do this instead. Let's add it here, and let's add an action. Okay, or better still, let's close this and add another power branch. Okay, and then this time we'll go to Bing. And it's in preview, so yeah, I won't be surprised about this. But Microsoft make it easy so that we can have, so get locations. There you go. So here, what's the point latitude? Let me open this up and open the dynamic content here. No dynamic content available. There's no content available. That is not true. Okay, let's go back here. We have Flic dynamic content here, so we should have Flic. We should have that here as well. Well, like I mentioned, I've not used this before. I was just trying to. There is no content available. If available, is automatically from the connectors and actions you choose from the flow. Okay, let's save this flow for now. Okay, and I'm going to delete this. Yes, save the flow. And let's see. Let me try this again. Let me say location. This time I want to use maps. I'm trying to see if I can get anything that gives me location. So there's a Bing Maps. Okay, so let's go for Bing Maps. Get location by points. Sorry about that. And it's okay. Let's go to the body. Let me see. So the body has to validate that we actually have longitude and latitude. I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to pick something else. I'm going to pick, let's say, Teams, Microsoft Teams. Okay, I'm going to pick Teams to say that I want to send a message to a Teams, or actually, let's see this. Let me try action. Let me just type approve. Let me try approve. Okay, let's type in approval, and let's get all actions related to approval. Okay, there you go. Okay, so there is a SharePoint. Okay, so there's an approval flow here. There is a Microsoft flow here. Okay, let me try the approval. I just want to validate that we have the longitude and latitude coming in. Okay, so we have approval. So create an approval, start and wait for an approval, wait for an approval. So start and wait for approval. That's what we want to do. So yep, what's the approval type? Uh, yep. So it's approve, reject. Everyone must approve. First to respond. So I'll just say approve, reject, first to respond. So what I'm doing is that after sending all the email, um, what I'm also trying to do is to get this to start an approval process. All right. So approve, reject, first response, title, ambulance needed. Assign to, let's say I'm going to assign it to myself again at outlook.com. You always have to press enter to get it in there. Now, there you go. Now check this out. Okay, so this is it. So yeah, so anyone from Microsoft Bing Maps, actually let me tweet about this. Yeah, I mean the life of the community we've chosen. So I'm going to do at Microsoft. Where is that? Let's see, Bing. I'm actually tweeting about this. Bing. Yep. Check your flow connector, it doesn't pick up lat and long from, actually let me bring this here so you can see what I'm doing. You can see I'm tweeting right now. So you kind of see like how my stuff, my daily life goes. So hey Bing, can you check your flow connector? It um it doesn't seem to, get lat and long from at, let's do Flic at smart, like, yeah, Flic button pressed. Okay, so tweet, that is out of the way. We can move this here. Okay, so let's add approval rule. So now we're saying that what's the markdown, or what's the info we're sending. Okay, so I'm saying that help me get an ambulance to this location, and then here, as you can see, this is everything from our Twilio, everything from our Twitter, everything from our email, everything from our Flic. So what? Lat space long. All right, so there was a problem with that connector. So we'll do this, and then I'll save this, save, and then we close. So now this is our flow. Okay, when the button is pressed, we send a text message, we tweet, we send an email, and then after all this is happening, we send what we call an approval flow. Now, this is what an approval flow does. You're going to see that it's going to, so see this as, let's say, whoever is in charge of the ambulance dispatch center would receive this email and say yes or no. All right, so let's do this again. I'm going to press this button. Button has been pressed. Let's go to our mail. Let's come back to the inbox. Let's refresh this. I can actually refresh my Twitter. I mean, we've already seen that. So yeah, it's actually it's on Twitter here. As you can see, right here we have it. Let me delete this before someone freaks out. Before my father calls me. Okay, so now check this out. I received this ambulance needed ASAP. Okay, that is done, right? So this is the first one. Let's go back to the inbox. I think I used the same email, so I should be getting an approval, unless of course there is something happening with the connector and I didn't get an approval. Let's refresh this. Oh, if it's a test, it might not show up. Let's go back here. Now, what we can do is that we can go to flows. No, cancel. Save this. All right, saved. Let's go back here. We can actually go to flows. Okay, so it failed. This one failed. Let's open and see what actually caused it to fail. So I can open this up. That's why I didn't get the second approval one. So I can go in here and check out what failed. So let's open this. While this is happening, well, I can close this, I already have a key. I could close this. Yep. All right. Flow run failed. What happened? So as you can see from the visual, okay, so this run, all the emails run, but this one failed. Let's open it up. Forbidding. The request failed. Error code. Graph lookup request. Error. User lookup request. The graph failed lookup. Okay, so it's probably erroring because it's saying it couldn't find what's this? Probably s@rani@outlook.com. It couldn't find me, or it's probably not allowed to send approval to me because it's not a corporate account. That's fine. That's fine. But then, hey, if I were using a corporate account, then I would have received this flow, and then I would have approved it, or decided to reject it or not. So let's go back. Let's go back to our flow. Click on it, ambulance request. Click on the edit flow. so that it brings us back to our portal. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I'm actually surprised that there isn't anything for Google like Maps. You know what? Let's do this. Let me go back and type Google Maps, Google Contacts, Google Sheets, Google Drive, Google Task. So it has nothing like Google Maps. Okay, let's look at now. Premium connectors, you need to pay for them. They are not free. So anytime you see premium close to something, you should know that is not free. I don't have any custom. I think this is going to make me try to create a custom connector that will take coordinate and show me that particular position on the map. But apart from that, this is how we create a very simple emergency response system using a physical button to send your location to a team of paramedics or emergency response team to help you. I have a story behind this. Imagine you have a loved one who is involved in an accident and there's nothing, things are probably desperate for help. It's just a click of a button for his loved ones or her loved ones, or even an emergency response team to know where exactly the thing is happening and then can go to, to the rescue. Imagine it is actually a smartwatch. You can actually get some pulse information correlated with this as well. So until I come your way next week with another episode, remember we're making some changes. IT Tuesday remains the same. This show will now be Demystify Technology on Fridays, and Power Series always going to be on Sundays. Now, if you have to miss anything on Sunday or this weekend, don't miss the Power Series show. A powerful person is coming onto the show. Connect, be encouraged, learn, and hey, let's move Africa forward in tech one step at a time. Brighten the corner where you find yourself. Share what you learn. Use it for the good of mankind. Till I come your way again next Friday. This has been Samuel Journey for Functions Friday. I'm out.